In this video, we're going to look at creating a GitHub repo and then push into it. So there's two very simple things in GitHub to achieve, but a lot of people don't actually know how to do them. It's once you start to get your head around Git, they're quite straightforward commands, but when you're first getting into Git and you've got to learn terminal and you're looking at this new thing called Git, which has got a ridiculous name, some people kind of struggle with it. So in this video, we're going to go over some really simple bits, and I'm just going to walk through creating a GitHub repo and then push into it. Simple as that. So I'm going to presume some things in this video. I'm going to presume that you've created a GitHub account already. I'm going to presume that you've added your public key, and I'm going to presume that you're using a Mac and terminal, because they're the two things that I'm going to use in this video. So first of all, I'm going to go over to Git, or GitHub rather. I'm going to go over to GitHub and go to my repo list. If you don't see it when you first log in, you're probably going to see a screen that looks something like this when you first log in. Go over to your little face on the right hand side and then click on repositories. So the first thing we need to do is, on this list here, we need to make a brand new repo. So every single project you start, every single new project with code in it and things like that, you want to make a brand new repo. Think of repos as just buckets of content for each individual project. We're making a new project, so I'm going to make a new repo. So to do that, I'm going to click on the new button there, the new green button, and we'll be faced with the create a new repository screen. I'm going to give it a name, so I'm just going to call mine LTW test repo or something like that. And then I'm going to leave the description because we don't need it for this video. And then I'm going to select private. So in GitHub, there's two kinds of repositories. You can select a public repo or a private repo. The public repo means that if anybody goes to your profile on GitHub, they're going to see that repo. The private one means the opposite, obviously. So it means that anybody that goes to your profile, they won't see the video. We want the second option, and probably for most of your projects, you want the second option too. So we're going to click private. And then one final thing to note, but it's not a thing we need for this project, is the Git Ignore. GitHub allows you to add a default Git Ignore into your project to begin with, and it can be a good starting point for a project. There's loads of different Git Ignore files here, different Git Ignore templates, and what a Git Ignore file does is exactly what it says on the tin. It basically allows you to automatically ignore files from getting added to Git. There's examples for C, C++, Cake, PHP, all kinds of things that you've probably never heard of, but all we're doing is putting some HTML into our repo, so we don't need that for this one. So I'm going to leave it blank. Now I'm just going to click the green button again, create repository. And it should, there we go, make me a repository. The only final thing I've got to do now I've created the repo online, is I need to pull it into my computer locally. So I'm going to copy the SSH link. And by the way, if this says HTTPS, it's not what you want. You want the SSH link. So click on SSH and copy that. And I'm going to go over to terminal. I'm just going to open a new window so you can't see any of this previous stuff. And I'm going to go to my sites folder, the place where I like to keep all my files. And I'm going to just do Git Clone and then paste the thing that I've just got off GitHub's page. And it clones it in. So it's pulled that thing online that we've just created into a folder on my computer. And as it says there, you appear to have cloned an empty repository because it is empty and there's nothing in it. So I'm just going to go inside that folder by just doing cd ltw test repo. So now I'm inside that folder. And I'm going to do atom dot to open up the folder. And there we go. We've got an empty folder inside Atom. I'm going to just make an example file here because it gives us something to commit then. So I'm just going to make an index.html, put some just default thing in there like that. And that's it. I'm just going to make one single file. I'm going to show you two different ways of pushing this file. So once I have saved it to my computer, the next step is I need to save it to the repo, create a version of this file, and then push it up online. So with Git, every time I make some changes or a bunch of changes that I want to create a save point of, I need to commit them and then push them up online to save them online back to the GitHub repo. So first of all, I'm going to do this the terminal way, and then I'm going to do it in Atom, which is a bit of a simpler way. So in here, I start by typing git status, and it shows I have one file that's currently untracked and it's ready to commit. So I'm going to do git add -a, which adds that to my things to commit. And then if I do git status again, you can see that it's ready to commit. Now I'm going to type git commit my first commit message. Do git status again. And there it is. So if I do git push, the final thing I'm going to do is just push it online. So git push origin master. And it's pushed up that file online. So if I go back to GitHub now and refresh this page, it should show a file in there, and there it is. And I can see I've got one commit and it's there. Job done. There's a simpler way to do this, as I mentioned. So if I go back to Atom, I'm going to make a bunch of changes. So remember, with Git, you make some changes and then you save them using Git. You make a save point or a version of it, and then you push it back up to GitHub. So I'm going to make just a simple change to this file. There we go, and save that. And also, if you're using Atom, it's got a really handy feature. Whenever you change a file in Atom and you're tracking it with Git, it shows here, you see how this has gone orange? A changed file shows up as orange, which tells me there's something to commit, which means I can use the feature in Atom to commit it. So down here at the very bottom right hand corner, it says Git. And you'll see there it says unstaged change. So this is changes ready to commit, but it's not been staged. It's not been prepared for committing. So I'm going to click stage all, which stages all of these files. That means if there was multiple files, it'd pull them all down. Then I'm going to write the commit message. So my second commit. Commit to master. And there you go. It's committed that. So the final step is I need to push it up online to GitHub. So I'm going to click the push button. And that should go online in 2 seconds. And let's check online here. And we've got another commit. There it is. And then you can close this window if you don't want to use it anymore. So they are the two main ways of committing things online. They're both fairly easy, but as I said at the beginning, they can be a little bit confusing when you first start to look into Git, and there's all these complicated commands and you're not quite sure what to do with them. So the two main ways to do it are doing it through the terminal like we showed, or the much simpler way with Atom. It's something not to be scared of really, because you can go to GitHub, make a new repo, maybe mess things up a little bit and just delete it and start again. So it's not something to be too scared of. Just go away and try it. And hope with this video, you've seen how easy it is now, and you're going to go away after this video and give it a try for yourself.